This happened to me last month. I keep thinking about it every single day. My friends told me I should write it down somewhere. Maybe it'll help me sleep better at night. I don't know. My name is Dex. I live in Phoenix, Arizona. Nothing exciting ever happens here, which is why what I'm about to tell you is so messed up. So back in February, I was going through some really tough times. My mom had been in the hospital for like 3 months with cancer treatments. The bills were piling up fast. I work at a warehouse loading trucks, and the pay is, well, it's not great. I was behind on rent, behind on everything, really. I remember eating ramen noodles for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 2 weeks straight. The thing is, my great-aunt Millicent had died about a month before all this happened. I barely knew her. She lived in Portland, Oregon, and I think I met her maybe twice at family reunions when I was little. She was this weird old lady who collected ceramic cats and always smelled like mothballs. My dad used to joke that she probably had more money than all of us combined because she never spent it on anything except cat food. Anyway, I was sleeping on my couch that night because my bedroom window was broken and it was freezing cold. February in Phoenix isn't supposed to be that cold, but it was. I had my phone charging next to me on the coffee table. The TV was still on some late-night infomercial about kitchen knives or something stupid like that. Then, at exactly 3:33 a.m., my phone started buzzing. I know it was 3:33 because I looked at the clock on my cable box. Who calls at 3:33 in the morning? Nobody good, that's for sure. The number wasn't in my contacts. It was just some random digits with a Portland area code. I almost didn't answer it. But something made me pick up. Maybe I thought it was the hospital calling about my mom. "Hello?" I said, my voice all groggy and confused. "Is this Dexter Morrison?" The voice was professional, like a businessman or something. He sounded older, maybe in his 50s. "Yeah, who's this?" "My name is Richard Caldwell. I'm an attorney with Caldwell, Barnes & Associates in Portland. I'm calling regarding your great-aunt Millicent Hartwell's estate." I sat up straight on the couch. This was weird. Nobody had mentioned anything about her having a will or leaving anyone anything. "I'm sorry for calling so late," he continued, "but I've been trying to reach you for weeks. There seems to be some urgency with the estate proceedings." "What do you mean?" "Well, Mr. Morrison, I have some rather surprising news. Your great-aunt has named you as the sole beneficiary of her estate. The total value is approximately $2.3 million. I swear I almost dropped the phone. $2.3 million? That had to be a mistake. Aunt Millicent was just some crazy cat lady. She lived in a tiny apartment above a bakery. "Are you sure you have the right person?" "Absolutely. Millicent Hartwell, maiden name Kowalski. She lived at 1847 Burnside Street in Portland. She had a cat named Mr. Whiskers." My heart started beating faster. Those details were right. I remembered Mr. Whiskers from when I was a kid. He was this fat orange tabby who used to sit on her windowsill. And I definitely remembered her maiden name being Kowalski because my dad always made fun of how she pronounced it. "The thing is," Mr. Caldwell continued, "there are some time-sensitive issues with the estate. Oregon has very strict probate laws, and if we don't file the proper paperwork within the next 48 hours, the estate will default to the state." "What does that mean?" "It means you'll lose the inheritance entirely. The state will take everything." I started pacing around my tiny apartment. This was insane. But also, maybe it was the answer to all my problems. My mom's medical bills, my rent, everything. What do I need to do? I asked. Well, there are some processing fees that need to be paid immediately. About $5,000. I know it sounds like a lot, but it's just to cover the legal paperwork, court filings, that sort of thing. Once that's processed, you'll receive the full inheritance within 72 hours. $5,000. I didn't have $5,000. I didn't even have $500. I don't have that kind of money right now. I understand your situation, Mr. Morrison. The good news is, you can wire the money directly to our trust account. Do you have access to online banking? Something felt weird about this whole thing. Why was he calling so late? Why was everything so urgent? But then again, he knew things about my family that seemed impossible to fake. How did you know about Mr. Whiskers? I asked. Your great aunt spoke about you often. She kept detailed records of her family. She mentioned that you were struggling financially and that she wanted to help. That made my stomach feel strange. Had she really been thinking about me? I barely knew her. She also mentioned that your mother was ill. She wanted to make sure you had the resources to take care of her. Damn, that hit me hard. Maybe this was real. Maybe Aunt Millicent had been watching our family from afar all these years. Look, I know this is a lot to process, Mr. Caldwell said, but I need to know if you're interested. If not, I have to contact the next of kin on the list. No, wait. I'm interested. I need to think about it. Of course. But remember, we only have about 36 hours now. Every minute counts. He gave me his phone number and the wire transfer information. After I hung up, I sat on my couch for like an hour just staring at the ceiling. This could change everything. But something in my gut felt wrong about it. I tried calling my dad, but he didn't answer. It was almost 4 a.m. by then. I looked up the law firm online, and it seemed legitimate. They had a website and everything. But when I tried to call their main number, it just went to voicemail. The next morning, I was exhausted. I kept thinking about that money, about my mom's medical bills, about how I could finally stop eating ramen every day. I almost went to the bank to wire the money 3 different times, but something kept bothering me. The timing felt wrong. The urgency felt forced. And why did he know so much about my personal life? That afternoon, I decided to call the law firm directly. Not the number Mr. Caldwell had given me, but the main number from their website. Caldwell, Barnes & Associates. How may I help you? Hi, I'm looking for Richard Caldwell. He called me about an estate matter. I'm sorry, but we don't have anyone by that name working here. My heart sank. Are you sure? He said he was an attorney with your firm. Sir, I've been the receptionist here for 8 years. We have never had a Richard Caldwell. That's when it hit me. This was a scam. But how did he know so much about my family? About Aunt Millicent? About Mr. Whiskers? I started doing research online. I found out that scammers can learn incredible amounts of information just from social media, obituaries, and public records. They probably saw my mom's GoFundMe page for her medical expenses. They probably read Aunt Millicent's obituary and cross-referenced it with our family information. The scariest part was when I dug deeper. I found traces of someone searching for information about our family going back months. Someone had been watching us, learning our routines, figuring out our vulnerabilities. They knew I was desperate for money. They knew about my mom's illness. They knew I would want to believe that someone in my family cared enough to leave me something. I never heard from Richard Caldwell again. But sometimes, late at night, I wonder how many other people he called, how many other families he researched, how many desperate people he tricked. The worst part? I still catch myself sometimes, hoping that maybe it was real, that maybe somewhere out there really is $2.3 million waiting for me. But deep down, I know the truth. Someone spent months watching my family, learning our pain, just so they could try to steal what little money we had left. I still can't sleep well at night. Every time my phone rings after midnight, I get this sick feeling in my stomach, because I know they're still out there, watching other families, learning their secrets, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. That's my story. I hope sharing it helps someone avoid making the same mistake I almost made. Trust your gut. If something feels wrong, it probably is, even if they know things they shouldn't know.